had a way of turning Seattle into a painting, all blurred edges and soft colors bleeding into one another. On nights like this, Elara Quinn stayed up long past midnight, her studio bathed in the golden glow of an old desk lamp and the rhythm of rain against glass. A blank canvas waited before her, but her mind wasn't blank at all. She dipped her brush into blue and began to paint what she had seen in her dreams again. A field of soft wildflowers beneath a vast sky, a man standing there with his back turned, the wind moving gently through his hair. She could almost smell the rain in the air, feel the same ache in her chest that woke her every night just before she reached him. Every stroke felt like remembering something she had never lived. "Still painting your mystery man?" The teasing voice came from behind her. Celine Hart, her best friend and occasional self-appointed therapist, leaned against the doorway, arms folded, a steaming cup of coffee in hand. Elara smiled faintly without looking up. "He's not a mystery man. He's just someone who won't leave my dreams alone." Celine walked in, her heels clicking against the wooden floor. "You've painted him in at least 5 canvases. Same eyes, same posture, same sky behind him. Either your subconscious has a crush, or you're sleepwalking with a model." Elara laughed softly. Maybe both. But her laughter faded as her gaze lingered on the unfinished face. She could never quite get it right. Every time she tried to define his features, something inside her whispered not yet. Celine sat on the couch, studying her friend. "You've got to stop letting dreams own you, Elara. Paint something real. Something here." "I'm trying," Elara said. "But sometimes it feels like the dream remembers me before I do." Celine frowned, half in concern, half in admiration. "You sound like one of your exhibition titles." Elara smirked. "Speaking of that, are you still coming to the show tomorrow?" "Wouldn't miss it. Echoes of the Unseen. That name alone deserves an audience." That night, when Celine had left and silence settled again, Elara cleaned her brushes slowly. She told herself she'd sleep, just a few hours. But as she slipped beneath her sheets, the same dream found her again. The same field, the same light, and the same man turning toward her. Only this time, she heard him whisper a name through the breeze. "Elara." She woke with a gasp, sitting upright in bed, her heart hammering. Her room was silent except for the rain, her skin damp with sweat. She whispered to herself, trying to shake it off, just a dream. But her voice trembled, because it hadn't felt like one. Across the city, Rowan Vale woke the same way. His apartment was neat and minimalist, every item placed with architectural precision. But tonight, his composure was gone. He sat up, rubbing his temples, breath shallow. He'd had the same dream for weeks, standing in a field, hearing a voice call his name. But this time was different. This time, he had heard her name too. "Elara." He repeated it quietly, the sound strange and familiar all at once. Rowan stood and crossed to his drafting table. The city glowed below him through floor-to-ceiling windows. He picked up a pencil and began to sketch, the same landscape, the same meadow he couldn't have known. It wasn't possible. He'd never been there. And yet, as he drew, a tear slipped down his cheek without him realizing it. The next evening, the gallery buzzed with warm laughter, clinking glasses, and the low hum of conversation. Seattle's art scene had come alive for Elara Quinn's new exhibition, Echoes of the Unseen. Celine, glamorous in emerald green, waved at Elara across the room. "You're trending already. Everyone's asking who your muse is." Elara smiled, her nerves barely hidden beneath her poise. "Tell them my muse won't tell me his name." But as she turned, her breath caught. A man had just entered, tall, dressed simply, a quiet gravity about him that drew attention without trying. He moved slowly between the paintings, pausing before each one with a stillness that didn't belong to the noise around him. Rowan Vale had no idea why he'd come. He wasn't the kind of man who went to art shows. But when he saw the poster in the cafe that morning, Elara Quinn, Echoes of the Unseen, something inside him told him to go. Now, standing before one of her paintings, the meadow, his heart clenched. He knew that place. He knew it the way you know your own heartbeat. And there, painted faintly in the distance, was him. Elara noticed him from across the room. There was something eerily familiar about the way he stood, the way his shoulders curved slightly forward, as though listening to the silence. She found herself walking toward him, her hands cold, her pulse racing. When he turned to face her, both froze. It was like watching the dream breathe. Rowan stared at her, searching her face for logic that wouldn't come. "You're real," he said quietly, almost to himself. Elara swallowed, her voice barely a whisper. "Have we met before?" He shook his head slowly, still dazed. "No, but I've seen you. I've seen you in my dreams." The crowd and the music faded into a blur. For a moment, it was only them, two souls remembering something their minds couldn't explain. Celine appeared beside Elara, trying to break the spell with a nervous laugh. "Okay, who's this tall stranger staring at you like you're made of moonlight?" Elara blinked, as if waking up. "This is..." She paused, realizing she didn't even know his name. "Rowan," he said softly. "Rowan Vale. Elara Quinn." Their handshake was brief, but it felt like touching something ancient. Later that night, after the show ended and the last guest had left, Elara stood alone in front of the meadow painting. The room was quiet now, only the hum of distant traffic and the soft hiss of the rain. She felt an ache in her chest, not fear, but recognition. From the doorway came a familiar voice. "You painted it exactly right." She turned. Rowan was there, his expression calm, but his eyes carrying a storm. Elara smiled faintly. "You sound like you've been there." "I have," he said. "In my dreams." They stood in silence, each afraid to ask what the other was thinking. Finally, Rowan said, "When I saw your name on the poster this morning, I knew I had to come. I didn't know why, until now." Elara's breath caught. "You think we dreamed the same thing?" "I don't know what I think," he said, "but it feels like I've been trying to find you for years." A single tear slipped down Elara's cheek. She didn't know if it was fear, awe, or something deeper. Maybe we were both remembering something neither of us ever lived. Outside, the rain had softened to a mist. Rowan offered to walk her home, and she didn't say no. The streets glistened beneath the amber glow of streetlights, puddles reflecting the city's heartbeat. As they walked, their conversation flowed easily, as if it had been waiting to happen. They spoke about art and architecture, about the strange comfort of solitude, about dreams that lingered too long. By the time they reached her apartment, the clock had slipped past midnight. Elara smiled shyly. "Thank you for coming tonight." Rowan hesitated. "Thank you for painting what I couldn't explain." She looked up at him, and for a heartbeat, she thought she saw the field again. He touched his forehead lightly, as if remembering something. "Maybe this isn't the first time we've met, Elara. Maybe it's just the first time we both remember." She didn't know how to respond, so she simply whispered, "Good night, Rowan." As she closed the door behind her, her heart was still racing. She leaned against the wall, eyes closed. And somewhere deep inside, that same whisper came again, the one from her dreams. Elara. Only this time, it didn't sound like a dream at all. The rain had stopped, but the city still smelled like it. That clean, quiet air that follows a storm. Elara sat by her window the next morning, a cup of tea in her hands, staring at the sketchbook on her lap. Inside it was a drawing she didn't remember making. A pair of hands, one reaching, one waiting. And below it, written in pencil, "Find the field." She didn't remember writing that, either. Later that day, she walked to her studio. The city was waking up, traffic murmurs, distant horns, people wrapped in their own worlds. But Elara's mind wasn't here. It kept replaying the moment from last night. That man, Rowan Vale, the way his voice had carried her name like it already belonged to him. Celine was already at the studio, sipping coffee and scrolling through her phone. "Well," she said with a grin. Someone had quite the cinematic moment at the gallery. Elara smiled shyly. "You mean the stranger who apparently dreams about me?" Celine raised an eyebrow. "I mean the guy who couldn't take his eyes off you." "Elara, are you sure you've never met him?" "I'm sure," she said. "At least, I think I am." Celine leaned back. "Be careful, okay? People can say all kinds of things to sound interesting." Elara nodded. "Yeah, maybe you're right." But something in her heart whispered otherwise. That evening, as she locked up her studio, she saw Rowan waiting outside, standing under the awning, hands in his pockets, that quiet presence again. "I didn't mean to scare you," he said gently. "I just thought, maybe we could talk." She hesitated, then smiled. "There's a cafe around the corner." They walked there together, the streetlights flickering gold against the wet pavement. Inside, the cafe smelled of cinnamon and roasted beans. They found a quiet table near the window. Rowan looked out for a moment before speaking. "I need to ask you something. Do your dreams ever feel real? Like memories?" Elara's fingers tightened around her mug. "All the time. He nodded slowly. Mine too. Since the accident. She looked up. Accident. He took a breath. 2 years ago. I was driving back from a project in Oregon. It was raining. A truck lost control. I woke up 3 days later in the hospital. His voice dropped. My fiancée didn't make it. Elara's heart sank. I'm so sorry. He nodded, eyes distant. Before I passed out, I remember hearing her whisper something. Just one word. Elara. Her breath caught. What? I didn't know anyone by that name, he said. Until last night. The silence that followed wasn't empty. It was full, thick with something neither of them could name. Over the next few days, they met often. Coffee turned into dinner. Dinner turned into long walks where the city felt smaller and time seemed slower. They talked about everything. About art, grief, the strange way dreams sometimes heal what words can't. Rowan told her about his work, the buildings he designed, the spaces he wanted to make feel alive. Elara showed him her paintings, all born from dreams she didn't understand. Each time they met, the connection grew stronger, familiar, like something old and rediscovered. One afternoon, while sorting her paintings for another client, Elara froze. There it was, a canvas she didn't remember painting. A meadow, wide, open, beautiful, and in the middle, a single tree shaped like a heart. When Rowan saw it later that evening, his face went pale. I know this place, he whispered. I've seen it. Elara frowned. Where? In my dreams, he said. But it's real, too. I sketched it months ago, before I ever met you. It's just outside the city, near Cedar Hill. Elara's pulse quickened. Then take me there. The next morning, they drove out of Seattle. The city faded into mist and evergreen trees. The rain had stopped again, as if the weather knew this moment needed silence. When they arrived, Elara stepped out of the car and just stood still. It was exactly like her dream. The field, the air, the distant hum of wind through the trees. Rowan walked beside her, quiet. You see it too, don't you? Elara nodded slowly, tears welling. Every detail, even that ridge of light. She touched her chest, a sudden ache spreading through her heart. I've been here before, she whispered. I just don't know when. They walked to the heart-shaped tree and stood beneath it. Rowan turned to her. When I was in a coma, he said, I dreamed I was standing here. I remember seeing a woman's silhouette in the distance, walking toward me. I couldn't see her face, but now, he looked at her. It was you. Elara's breath caught. Rowan. He smiled faintly, his voice low and sure. Maybe we've been finding each other across lifetimes. She stepped closer. Or maybe love doesn't always need a reason to remember. He reached out, slowly, carefully, and she took his hand. For a moment, the world went still. No wind, no sound, just the quiet heartbeat of something ancient being recognized. Later that night, back in her apartment, Elara couldn't sleep. She stood at the window, staring at the rain beginning again. Everything in her life, her art, her dreams, her memories, felt like threads slowly weaving together. She picked up her sketchbook and opened to the page with the two hands again. The words beneath had changed. Don't be afraid to remember. Her eyes widened. She hadn't written that. She looked up as thunder rolled in the distance. Her reflection in the glass looked older somehow, wiser. And for the first time in her life, she whispered into the silence. Who am I really remembering? Across town, Rowan lay awake in bed. He couldn't stop thinking about her, or about the strange sense of peace that came when she was near. He turned to the nightstand, where a small leather journal lay, the one he'd kept after his recovery. Inside were his sketches from the hospital. He flipped through until he found one, a rough drawing of a woman's face. Not his late fiancée, someone else, someone who looked just like Elara. He ran his fingers across the page, his pulse heavy. It's you, he whispered. You've always been there. Outside, the rain whispered back, steady and soft, like memory itself. Morning light spilled gently through the curtains. Elara sat at her kitchen table, her sketchbook open, her tea gone cold. The same thought had followed her through the night. Who am I really remembering? Each dream felt more vivid now. Each whisper, clearer. The man, the field, the name, all circling back to Rowan. But this wasn't just coincidence anymore. It felt connected. That afternoon, she met Dr. Simon Wren, a neuroscientist who'd once interviewed her for an art feature about dreams and memory. She told him everything about Rowan, the shared dreams, the field, even the strange messages appearing in her sketches. He listened quietly, his expression calm but curious. When she finished, he said, "Elara, I think there's something you should know." He leaned forward. "You mentioned you had heart surgery a few years ago, right?" She nodded slowly. "A transplant. 2 years ago. My heart failed suddenly. The doctors never told me much about the donor." Simon hesitated. "Would you like to know?" Her pulse quickened. "Yes." He opened his tablet, scrolling through old medical records. "I don't usually access this, but I remember your case because it was unique. The donor's name was Elara Vale." Elara froze. "Vale?" He nodded. She was the fiancée of an architect named Rowan Vale. The world seemed to tilt. The air left her lungs. Her chest tightened, her eyes wide. Simon spoke softly. "Elara, your donor was Rowan's fiancée." That night, Elara sat alone in her apartment, her fingers trembling around a photograph Simon had found in the file. A smiling woman with kind eyes and auburn hair. Elara Vale, the donor, Rowan's fiancée, the heart inside her chest. She stood, pacing the room, trying to breathe through the shock. The dreams. The meadow. The name whispered in the dark. It wasn't random. It was memory. It was the heart remembering where it came from. The next morning, Rowan knocked at her door. When she opened it, his smile faltered immediately. Her face said everything. "Elara, what's wrong?" She handed him the photo. He stared, confused, until his gaze met the name written beneath it. Elara Vale. He went still. Then slowly, his eyes lifted to hers. "Elara, what is this?" Tears filled her eyes. "Rowan, the heart that's beating in me, it's hers." Silence. The kind that breaks everything. He took a step back, shaking his head as though he hadn't heard right. "What are you saying?" "My transplant, 2 years ago, the same year you lost her." Rowan's breath caught. His eyes closed. For a moment, he couldn't speak. When he finally did, his voice cracked. "So, every time I dreamed of you, every time I felt like I knew you." She nodded. It was her heart, remembering you. Neither spoke for a long while. Only the faint sound of rain filled the room. Gentle, relentless, like time itself. Finally, Rowan whispered, "I don't know what to feel." Elara stepped closer. "You don't have to know. I don't either." He looked at her, searching, hurting, healing. "She loved this field," he said quietly. "The one in our dreams. We used to go there when she was alive." Elara wiped her eyes. "Then take me there again." The sky was clear when they reached Cedar Hill that afternoon. The sun filtered through the trees, golden and soft. The meadow was exactly as they'd both remembered, the grass swaying like breath, the air calm, timeless. Rowan stopped beneath the heart-shaped tree. He closed his eyes and whispered, "Elara, if you can hear this, thank you for letting me find peace again." Elara stood beside him, her hand over her heart, tears slipping down her cheeks. Then, she turned to him. "Rowan, maybe we were never supposed to replace anyone. Maybe we were just meant to continue what love began." He looked at her, the sunlight catching his eyes that had carried too much loss, now softened with something new. He stepped forward, gently placing his hand over hers, feeling the steady beat beneath her skin. "I used to think love ended with goodbye," he said. "But maybe love just changes form. Maybe it finds a new heartbeat." She smiled through tears. Maybe that's what this was all along, love trying to remember. The wind picked up slightly, carrying with it the scent of wildflowers and something softer, a quiet, unseen blessing. They stayed there until the sun dipped below the horizon, two silhouettes in the fading gold, connected by something deeper than memory. When they finally walked back to the car, Elara turned once more toward the meadow. In the last light of dusk, she thought she saw a figure standing in the distance, a woman, smiling. "Elara," Elara whispered, "thank you." The figure faded into the light, and peace filled the space where confusion once lived. Back in the city, Elara returned to her studio. She painted again, not the field, not the past, but something new. A sunrise breaking through clouds, a pair of hands intertwined, and in the distance, a heart made of gold light. When she signed her name at the bottom, she added something more. For the hearts that remember. Sometimes, love doesn't ask to be understood. It just asks to be felt, across time, across memory, across the silent places where hearts still speak. If this story touched your heart, don't forget to like, leave a comment, and subscribe to Soulthread, where every story has a soul.